Hey guys, Jamie here with MilkAllergyMom.com and Dr. Siri, our allergist immunologist at Midwest Allergy Sinus Asthma. It's just rolling off my tongue now. Today we want to talk about how to choose an allergist. I feel like I should be the expert on this actually. Although I've only had one allergist in my whole life, and it's you.
Oh, I guess we're biased.
But having done this for as long as we have and facilitating a community of over 14,000 allergy families on Facebook and having our membership group, I kind of have a handle now on what the big picture looks like of the allergists that we experience and what our options are. We just got lucky. We were referred to you when Miles had his anaphylactic reaction when he was 8 months old. You always explained things. You always communicated to us well. We could get in and see you. You tried baked milk with us 7 years ago and it wasn't even you always did things that helped us feel hopeful and encouraged, and you always explained things so well to me that I started Milk Allergy Mom and felt like I could actually talk about allergy, and a lot of it is because you were so good at educating me on allergies. I had no experience in it until our son had his reaction. So I've been spoiled having you as an amazing doctor, but having led so many thousands of families in our community, realizing not everybody is as lucky as I am. And so some families are out there trying to find an allergist that is, I think what we didn't realize until doing things a few years ago is that parents have a choice in most cases, unless it's some insurance snafu or something, but we have a choice. And that allergists vary. They just vary on what kind of treatments they'll offer, how personable or not personable they are, how much they'll communicate and teach us. And so that's what I want our community to know, is that allergists vary widely and that it is good for us parents to know what we want in our allergy journey. We really do have choices. We aren't just stuck with We really do have choices and options. Even though we may not be able to eat all the food we want, we do have options. And that's why allergy groups, sometimes groups online get a bad rap, the groups and pages where you get all kinds of misinformation and things like that. But it is also it's a blessing in disguise, because we get to hear about other people's experiences and realize, wow, what is this like to have an allergist that talks to you? Or wow, what is it like to have an allergist who will do desensitization? Or wow, what is it like to have an allergist who looks at the whole allergy bucket, and we're talking about asthma and eczema and all the things instead of just food allergies. So there are options, and parents should have after being in these groups and getting that kind of information, you can kind of start to formulate your goals and what you want for your family, what you're comfortable with. And then it's a matter of going out and talking to friends, or even online, we're able to find local people that other allergy families recommend or whatever, just doing a little bit of legwork to find the right fit for you in picking an allergist, so you do not feel stuck and do not feel like you can't move forward or progress, even though you are dealing with allergies and food allergies specifically. So again, we have been so lucky that you were just what I thought everybody was experiencing all this time, but that is not the case. And that's why I wanted to do this video. I'm talking more than you are in this to say allergists vary by what they will offer. Your goals, this is what we're known for at Milk Allergy Mom, is we say there is no right or wrong way to live with allergies. Some people want to do school, some people want to homeschool, some people want to take big vacations, some people want to travel to Europe, some people just want to stay home. There's no right or wrong. People can do whatever they're comfortable doing. Match those up with an allergist who will help you move the needle somehow in your allergy. And that's where we feel just liberated. Okay, we have this situation, but we're able to do what we want to do. And I have the allergist that will help me do that. So I just wanted you to talk about really, really quickly, because I get confused about the board certification and things like that our parents talk about. And I know that it is an important thing to know when picking an allergist. And I don't know all the fellowships and all that kind of stuff. So can you tell me just real quickly, to go along with this, sort of the professional aspect of choosing an allergist and what kind of qualifications they may or may not have that we can be looking out for? Because I'm all about whoever will just tell me good information and make my child not as allergic. What have you got for us?
I think you've shared some just really amazing experiences and have built something very great. So I thank you for that. You just have such a great brain for this. I think that it can be so confusing to people because certainly everybody and their brother may profess that they're an expert in allergy out there. So the best person usually the best person to approach the allergy is somebody who's board certified in allergy immunology. So that means they have what does that mean? They have they are certified by the American Board of Allergy and Immunology. So they're not certified by a different board. That's the official board for the for allergists. ABAI is what we call it. So typically, just because this is board certified, you want to make sure that it's not a different board. That's probably the best. But I am biased. I gotta be right in front of that. I'm an ABAI certified board allergist, so board certified allergist. So I'm biased in that respect. I'm not saying that other people who aren't ABAI certified aren't experts in allergy. People who are otherwise just really experienced. I mean, I've met some really, really good doctors who maybe are not originally didn't go through a fellowship program and things like that, who are just really smart, skilled people. But generally, for the layperson who's looking for an allergist for the first time, this is what you're looking for.
Right. And when people ask me what we have, because they know what we have experienced, I can hardly tell them. So when you explain what what your qualifications are, I think that's the general thing that allergy parents in our community are looking for. We're not making up some obscure thing. Yes.
So usually it's either somebody who was already a pediatrician or already an internist. So they usually have already gone through a residency program to be a pediatrician or to be an internal medicine adult doctor. And then you can go either way into what we call an advanced fellowship program. So then they have 2 or 3 years additional training on top of being a pediatrician or an internist. So they understand the disease process of the body. And then after that 2 or 3 year fellowship, advanced subspecialty program is what we call it, then they're eligible to sit for the board exam. And so these are people who are already really good general doctors, and then they basically then have had the advanced subspecialty fellowship. So they are specialists. So it's not a regular, primary care doctor.
I do have to pay my specialist copay when I come here. So it's legit. And you're talking about the allergy immunology board test.
Yes, the American Board of Allergy Immunology, which has to be recertified every 10 years. So there's a rigorous process. Not only do you have to be good at your fellowship program, you have to take the exam, and then you have to do what we call continuing medical education every year, just like other doctors and other specialties.
Great.
So it's no different than seeing a cardiologist or a gastroenterologist, things like that. And then typically those people know all about the allergic and immunological diseases, but certainly some doctors may focus just on the allergy, and some doctors may just focus on the immunology, and some doctors may do both. So just because you see an allergist and immunologist who board certified doesn't mean they treat immune deficiency. And just because you see an immune doctor at the hospital doesn't mean they're also going to be an expert at food allergy. So, everybody has their own expertise, kind of like some cardiologists do CAS and some cardiologists only treat heart failure.
Right.
It's the same thing. People fall into the things they like. But generally, there's only about 70 to 100 allergy programs where you actually can be a fellow to get trained. In the country, there's not a lot of them. And then there's only about 6,000 allergists in the country. There aren't a lot of them. And so, if you have one close to you that's good, you're lucky.
I'm lucky. I'm very lucky. Well, that's a great explanation. So board certified, usually they became a doctor in a pediatrician setting or internist. Then they went on to get their allergy immunology board certification.
Correct.
And then they may have gone on, did you say a step further?
So typically after they get they're either a pediatrician or an internist, then or some people, they're both, then they will go on to the subspecialty fellowship to be an allergy immunology fellow, and then they graduate from the fellowship program and then take the exam.
Gotcha. And there's continued training each year, you said, and then they may choose to specialize in something with an allergy immunology, and some may just be doing food or allergy, some may be doing immunology. Okay.
So if you're looking for those, you're looking at funny numbers or letters at the end of your doctor's name.
Yes.
What are these?
What are those funny numbers?
Yeah. So MD stands for funny letters.
We don't even know letters and numbers.
MD stands for what we call allopathic medicine. Most doctors in the United States are MDs. There are some doctors in the United States that are DOs as well. That's different. That's doctor of osteopathy. But either way, they're both considered doctors, like the regular way you think of doctors, not PhD doctors, but like
physicians.
A physician, exactly. And then there might be letters after their name. So there's American Board of Pediatrics, ABP, and then there's American Board of Internal Medicine, which is ABIM, and so they may be a fellow of one of those boards. For internal medicine, it's slightly different, but and then for allergy, there are two main bodies that basically help train and do education, things like that for allergist immunologists. One is called the Quad AI, the American Academy of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology, so 4 A's and an I.
4 A's.
And the other one is known as the ACAAI, similar except there's a C and not 4 A's. So it's the American College of Allergy, Asthma, and Immunology. And so those are the two national ones. So you could be a fellow of the Quad AI, or you could be a fellow of the American College. That's the FAAAI or the FACAAI. So that's what all those letters stand for.
Really cool. Good to know that.
And what that means is that they just took an extra step. They applied to the academies to say, hey, I'm a good doctor. I've got certain qualifications I've made. They've been going to CME meetings and things like that. And so when you apply for fellowship status, it is a status to say that they've taken that extra step to show that they're, that they're intentionally trying to stay engaged and, certified they're a good doctor. You usually have to have letters of recommendation and things like that.
That I learned something new.
Yeah.
That is really cool. I didn't know those next two steps. So, I've seen them and I'm like, oh, well, they must be a good doctor, but I really didn't understand how that works. So thank you.
Yeah.
All right. I think that wraps it up. That is how I choose about allergists, how I see our community, sometimes struggling, and to give them a little information about you do have choices, find the right match, and then you kind of brought in the professional aspect of it, of what we really want to look for to find a good doctor professionally, not just they make us feel good and they answer our questions. Probably not the...
Can I say something about the insurance thing?
Yeah.
So insurance is, a moving target. It really is. And so for some people, they're like, oh, that doctor's not on my insurance plan. But, for example, if you're trying to look for somebody specific, like a doctor who does immunology or a doctor who does food desensitization in your community and the other doctors don't, and maybe they're not in your network, you can certainly write a letter to your insurance company and say, hey, these are my needs. This doctor does this. The other doctors I've already tried or talked to them and they won't do it. And oftentimes they will approve it so they can be in your network. So it takes a little extra step. I know it takes work. And, we hate to think insurance companies rule our lives, but they do. And, if you're going to be in that plan, you can get permission. So many times it takes a little extra step, but that can happen. And sometimes people fall in and out of insurance programs. So just because your doctor wasn't covered before, it doesn't mean they're not covered now. So I think it's always worthwhile calling the office and finding out.
That is such a good tip. That is a very good tip. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's going to help a lot of families.
You're such a great patient advocate. I just want other people to advocate too.
No, that is excellent. All right. Well, thank you for helping us learn about how to choose an allergist today.
Thank you.
See you next time.
Need my